One of the problems I find in my travels is that people tell me, principals, teachers, even students, that men won't talk about their hurt and pain. They wear a mask. And when I go into high school and take the mask off, here's what the principals come to usually after and say, Maury, is it ever good as a man that told your story today? It's from a man's perspective. Because most men cover it. Most men hide it. They won't deal with it. But you come in and take the mask off and all of a sudden the walls come down, and even the guys sitting there, you'll notice, will come to the mic and ask questions. Normally they'd never do that, but they'll do it on those terms. And I've discovered over the years that men have a tendency, it's not cool to cry. You got to be tough. You got to wear this mask. You always got to be masculine. When really, when you read through scripture and examine lives that have really made it today in society, they're honest. They're open. So my philosophy is take the mask off and deal with the issues of your life. And over the years I've discovered, I was at a high school in Ontario. They claim to be one of the most violent high schools in Ontario. The principal warns me, Maury, if you don't want to talk to them, I'll just pretend you couldn't make it. Because he said, there's a whole group up there on the balcony. They're the ones that are after you, and they're out to get you. I said, no, I wouldn't miss this for anything. So you sure? I said, I'm sure. So I go in, I share my story. I think it was about 2,000 students, I share my story. Then I throw it open. Does anybody have any questions? From that crowd that there was supposed to be a problem, a girl comes to the microphone, looks down at me, she says, Maury, did you have any counseling? No, I didn't. No therapy? I said, none. She said, did God have anything to do with this? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, he did. She said, how? I said, do you really want to know? All the kids are. I said, I had an encounter with Jesus Christ that turned my life around, and that's why I'm here in your school today. And wonderful people come into my life to help me deal with my hurt and my pain and my sorrow, and that's why I'm in your school today. A girl got out of her seat and walked to that microphone. She's crying. She could hardly contain herself. She said, Maury Blair, I got something to say to you today. She said, I think you're a real hero. Well, I'm no hero. I just have to do what God tells me. She said, you come in here today and took the mask off, like people don't do. And she said, you revealed your real true self to us, and you told us how you hurt and you're in pain. And she said, I want you to know I think you're a hero. Well, this whole body of students, they start clapping, and the principal's sitting there in shock. But I said to him after the meeting, do you know what it is? You got to take the mask off when you're dealing with young people. You got to be honest with them. You got to level with them. And I've discovered in my travels that the real key here is take the mask off and be honest. And I've gone into men's meetings where I've shared my story. And then I've said, you know something? You may be sitting here today with a mask on. What would happen if God came along today and just took the mask off with a couple hundred guys, took the mask off you guys today? What kind of hurt and pain would be in your life? And then I'd said to them, there's a microphone. If you want to come up here and share some of your story, you know, we've all got a story. We've all got a story, but we cover them very neatly. Maybe it's time to open up, because maybe through your story, some life will be touched, and that heart will be changed, and someone will take some hope. I watched as the men came up. I remember one guy taking the mic off and said, I never talked publicly in my whole life, but I got to be honest today. I can identify the Maury Blair story. I was a victim of child abuse too. My own family doesn't even know this. In my home, my kids don't even know it. I'm on home today to bare my heart with them and take the mask off. So I think it's really important. You know, we mask ourselves under Christianity. Well, I love Jesus and I'm a Christian, so nothing can be wrong in my life. And that's not what I'm finding in my travels, in men's meetings, in churches, everywhere. Schools, prisons. People are hurting today. People are wounded. People are broken. How you were raised, if you don't deal with it now, it'll affect you later. You can't run from your past. You can't hide from it. You got to deal with it. And the way to deal with it is take the mask off first with God, let Him deal with the issues of your life, then start to talk about it. It's amazing as you talk about it and get honest and take the mask off, how you affect other people's lives. So I found it, even at Teen Challenge all those years, the kids would, guys would come in to share their hearts, and I'd say, hey, I can identify with that. And they'd look at me and say, oh, you're one of us. But if I hadn't taken the mask off, I would have never touched their lives. I'd have sat there as the director of the program looking down at them saying, oh, here's what you need to do. But I said, hey, I've been there. And tell them my story, and they were in shock. You're one of us. Take the mask off, man. Deal with the issues of your life. Be honest, first with God, and then with your family, and then with the kids and the young people in your church that need to know that you've been there, you've come back, and you're still going. Hey, if He can do it with God's help, so can I. And that's the message we need to portray today in our society.